Blue Jays in Toronto. In his first game as a Brewer, Eduardo Escobar homered and tripled to help lead the Brewers to a 6-2 victory at home against the Pirates. Tonight, the Royals begin a series on the road against the White Sox, while the Cubs travel to Coors Field to play the Rockies. In addition, the Reds host the Twins, Padres and Athletics face off in Oakland, and the Dodgers start up a 2-game set against the Astros. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And here we go.
You're in the recruiting hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're the 2 o'clock.
Yes, I am.
Here are your hosts, Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Brought to you by Bubbles and Blocks.
Welcome into the recruiting hour. Mike Shaver, Connor Happer here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's where they let us make the magic that is the recruiting hour from 2 to 3, Monday through Friday. If you missed yesterday's show, we talked about all sorts of things. We talked about Quinn Ewers. We talked about Nebraska getting old on defense. We talked a little recruiting. You can, of course, catch that at theticketfm.com, or you can just get the app and have it right there on your phone. All good stuff. All right. It is me, Mike Schaefer, joined by Connor Happer today. And a couple notes, right, as we get started. We'll start with this one. I entered the studio and DP asked me if I was a frozen lemonade guy, and I didn't know if I was or not.
He asked if you were a frozen lemonade fan.
Yeah, fan.
And that is a weird question.
Well, so this is frozen lemonade, yes. But, like, it's not like the frozen lemonade cups that you would get at a sporting event.
It's not completely frozen.
Yeah. This is more like chilled lemonade. Is that fair?
It would be called frozen lemonade.
Was it more frozen before I showed up? I don't know how long it's been sitting
No,
there.
I mean, it's not completely frozen, but it's I guess the frozen lemonade cups are probably, I don't know, more, it's closer to ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is the actual drink.
What do
just
they
frozen.
call the frozen chocolate things? They call those frozen malts or something?
Yeah, frozen malts.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's a
they don't have any
malt.
consistency that tastes like a malt, by the way.
And what are those?
I don't remember what they're called. People love them. They're
I
the
love
little
them.
wooden spoons.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, I like them, but they're not malts.
You know what's great that I forget about sometimes? Italian ice.
People forget about Italian ice.
Yes, I forget about it usually.
I have not had Italian ice in forever.
So good.
My mom was talking about snow cones when I was back in Columbus over the weekend.
Dude,
she was like, do you remember when you were a kid and we would be down at like the square on Thursday nights in Columbus? Because there'd either be like a performance or fireworks. This is when people did stuff as a community, of course.
That's right.
And
they
she's
were
like,
all
you'd always cry and you'd need like she was sort of insulting with
You'd
this.
need a snow cone.
You'd need a snow cone and your life would be over if you didn't have a snow cone.
That's funny.
I did remember. I really like snow cones. But I think about it now, and it's just like flavored ice. But when you're a kid, they're incredible.
So from the Ding Ding Man, I remember that being
the Ding Ding Man.
Yeah.
That's the name of the ice cream guy.
Well, that's what I call him. There's a huge argument about this. I call him the Ding Ding Man.
We have had this conversation before. Let's not get sidetracked.
Ding Ding Man. That's the guy. So you get the snow cone from the Ding Ding Man, and that's what I always got from him, but they weren't that good. I had my first snow cone in quite some time on Sunday.
Okay. What were you doing?
Maybe Saturday.
Okay. You don't even remember because you had such a nothing weekend that it all was one.
Now that I think about it, it was Saturday. It was Saturday.
I'm so jealous. I wish I didn't immediately know which day was which because I was so busy on both.
There was a snow cone. There's a snow cone stand.
What?
Permanently.
In your neighborhood?
Near my house. Yes. Not in my neighborhood, across the street. So it's a walk. So me and my wife took a walk.
How much of a walk?
7 minutes.
That's in the neighborhood.
It's not physically in the neighborhood. You have to go out of the neighborhood.
Is there like another little thing that welcomes you to a different neighborhood?
It's not a different neighborhood either. It's on the corner and I have to cross a major street to get there. But it's only 7 minutes.
Nice.
So walked over there, got the walk in, got a snow cone, and they're like, do you want to join our rewards point? And I'm like, yes. So they said you can get 10 snow cones and
You'll get one
the
for
11th
free.
snow cone is free.
And this snow cone was good, unlike when you were
And
younger.
it was, yeah, it was really good. And it was
The Ding
like,
Ding Man didn't deliver.
didn't it, because they had to pre-make them, so they almost ran out of flavor
Oh.
before you even got to it, and you were just eating chipped ice at that point
Which,
in time.
eh.
This is the real, like, it's almost soft ice,
Okay.
you know, and they, douse it in the flavor stuff. It's great snow cone experience.
No, did they?
I had given up on snow cones.
So when you went to the snow cone stand, like, do they have a bunch of different flavor options, or is it just like you get the?
Several
'Cause-
dozens.
When I was a kid, you were just getting like the rainbow flavor, like you were just getting one.
That's
One
right.
flavor. You were
Yes.
just getting that.
Dozens. They
Oh, wow.
they have the syrup or whatever, and they.
So
just,
what did you go with?
You could do with any of them. I went with grape.
Why?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was a bad choice.
Just
I like
personally,
grape.
grape is not something I get excited about.
I like grape. I like the grape popsicles, the pop ices. You
Yep.
know,
You're a big Popeyes guy.
I like those.
frozen.
But I was
ice,
worried
whatever they're
about.
called.
So my wife got the pink lemonade.
Yeah, that
and
sounds great.
I was worried about the flavor of
The
the
acidity?
pink, like the syrupy pink. I thought that could be potentially too much, but I had some of hers, and it tasted just like pink lemonade.
Yeah.
It was really
As
good.
it should.
And then I realized that I kind of screwed up
Mm.
with my grape snow cone.
What did you have backup flavors you were considering?
Watermelon.
We're different on the flavors.
Yeah.
Those are two of my least favorite.
I love watermelon.
Yeah, I would immediately have looked for either cherry or black cherry.
Yeah, cherry. Ugh.
Yeah, see, we're very opposite
I
on
don't
the flavors.
I don't do cherry.
I like the pink lemonade idea. Just straight lemonade could have been interesting, as
Yes.
I've now discovered with this frozen lemonade, which is from Popeyes. They dropped off a bunch of food because people at radio stations never eat.
That's
So,
right. Yeah, they just go through.
we never have any food. I tried a Popeyes nugget. Great, highly recommend.
Justin says, remember when Tiger's Blood was a snow cone flavor, or is it just me? Tiger's Blood was an option. I was like, I don't know what Tiger's Blood is, but this is my first time
I
at
have
this snow
vague
cone stand,
recollections of
and I'm
this.
only going to get grape.
Man, grape.
I
Yeah.
could have got Tiger's Blood, but I didn't know what I was going to get.
Yeah. I
they're
actually
gonna,
feel
like,
like
juice a
between
tiger right in front of
grape
me?
and watermelon, you chose the right one.
Okay.
Are you like, if you get, do you have Jolly Ranchers ever? Is this a thing? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like the green
actively
ones.
get them, but sometimes they're like sitting around.
I like the green ones and I like the purple ones.
Okay, but you don't like the watermelon ones. It seems like you'd
I
have been
like
all
those
over
two, but those
yeah.
are third.
Yeah, I don't. The watermelon ones I just leave for other people.
Mm.
The green ones are good.
The green ones.
We're in
the purple
we're in
ones.
lockstep there. Purple's fine.
Grape
Eh.
suckers, grape popsicles.
Do you like just straight grape juice, not like
Not
sugar
really.
flavored?
No, it's got to be
Okay.
like ice grape.
Okay. Ice grape. New flavor
I-
brought to you by 93.7 The Ticket.
Ice grape.
This is ice grape. It's when you combine ice with grape.
Yeah. Margarita snow cones are a thing now. Somebody said in the text line.
Whoa.
Yeah. This could be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Adult
cones.
snow cone stand.
So
has
snow
to be a
cones are
thing
back?
in like Austin, Texas, or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be at a place where like they can continually just put the adult spin on stuff
Yep.
because they're in a community where no one's ever forced to grow up.
Yeah, Austin is like what happens when you're 22 years old and you're like under the influence. You're like, wouldn't it be an awesome idea if we just like took this already existing thing and turned it into something different? And that's basically all what happens in Austin.
Austin, Portland, and Nashville are all the same in that regard for
Yeah.
me. Nashville maybe a little bit less than the other two, but Austin and Portland are sociological experiments that were run to their fullest
But
extreme.
I appreciate it because of the specificity of it. Like it's very specific.
Well,
you
stuff
can get
gets born there.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
get very specific things.
It's like the R&D for society is a lot of just Austin.
yes,
They'll create stuff, and then if it's good enough to survive there, it'll get passed out to the rest of us.
that's right.
Which isn't the worst way to live.
No, but you
All right.
could get it from the source in Austin.
So I wanted to touch on that. I was going to give you a couple minutes to yell about tomatoes, but we've already spent 9 minutes on snow cones. So I don't know if that's maybe we'll save the tomatoes for the end of the show, or if you want to quickly.
I'll just say this. Out of the ingredients of the BLT, I would
Oh my
argue,
God.
I stand before
I
you.
don't know why that was so funny.
I stand before you saying that the T is the most important part of the BLT. Not the B, The L is medium. I think we can all agree on that. The
L has never been the most important part of anything other than salad.
That is true. Everybody was like, "Oh well, the B, the bacon."
Yeah.
And we have. I mean, yes, you have to have the bacon. It all comes together.
If
and
you
makes a
ever
BLT.
ate an LT,
But the tomato is actually, I would argue, the primary meat of the BLT. Bacon is a topping meat.
the tea, unless it is processed, is no good. No
Mm-mm.
good.
No.
Cut up tea in anything,
You ever
terrible.
had a tea on a hamburger?
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh,
I don't
so
want
good.
it. It's just
Cheeseburger?
gross.
Oh, it's great.
No, thank you, sir.
Like you can make a hamburger like fresh, with little T on there.
I definitely don't need the L on a hamburger.
It's almost a refresh. It's almost like the
Shane's whole thing about like the cold with the hot. I completely agree, but then the L texture just throws everything off for me.
Mark says underappreciated mayonnaise, so you have to have the mayo
Yep.
too. It doesn't even.
Well, you
get
gotta have
included
bread. I
in
mean,
the
bread's a
BLT.
big part of the BLT, and
But
it needs to be toasted.
What I did today, I have a little thing of the Freddy's fry sauce.
Oh, so good.
I drizzle that on
Yep.
there too with the mayo, mix it all in there. That was a BLT, my friends.
I feel like Freddy sells itself short by just calling it fry sauce when it is
Yeah.
applicable for anything.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you can dunk nuggets in it. You can drizzle it on sandwiches.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with like the Chick-fil-A sauce or whatever. Like it can just be used all purpose. They're all purpose sauce.
That's right.
We don't need to confine them to these little things. They can do anything.
By the way, do you know how
Let
many?
your sauces grow up thinking that they can achieve everything.
Thank you.
Companies.
Thank you.
Let's not lock them into little boxes here.
By the way, do you know how many ideas we could have written on the idea
I
board in the
know,
last
I
10
actually
minutes?
thought about walking in and checking the idea board first and foremost.
Ice grape.
I don't know what ice grape is exactly.
I don't either.
Ice grape sounds like a Gatorade flavor from the 90s when they just sort of had
They started
weird.
combining
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, it's like, this is blue frost. And you're like, it just tastes like blue,
Yeah, it's just blue.
but it's in a cool box.
But then there's like 7 different blues, so they have to call it something.
Right.
I guess I get it. Anyway, shout out to the tomatoes. You're the real MVP of the BLT.
Since we're already here, do you want one of what people have to perceive to be one of my worst takes? The best Gatorade flavor for me is fruit punch.
Which one's fruit punch?
Just a red. Just straight
Oh
red.
no, red's the worst.
Yeah, everyone hates it but me.
Yellow.
Like I'm the one guy. I like yellow. quite a
Yellow's
bit,
the
too.
best Gatorade.
Yeah. I'm not a big purple guy. Unless it's like Riptide Frost. or
Riptide
whatever.
Rush?
Riptide Rush.
Riptide
yeah.
Rush.
That
They
one
made
was
a
pretty good.
purple Gatorade Rain. That was one of my all-time
Like
favorite
Prince?
favorite Gatorades. Yeah, remember when they were doing
Prince was a
Gatorade?
Gatorade sponsor?
Remember when they were doing Gatorade Rain? It was like a light. It was like Gatorade
You mean
Light.
G2?
It's basically it's a little better than G2. It's like
Better in taste or
now
better
they do
for
like
you?
G0. It's
Yeah.
better in taste.
I don't know where Gatorade's at anymore, but
They were doing Gatorade Rain,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're still doing it. The purple Gatorade Rain was on my Mount Rushmore of Gatorades. Mark, are you?
I thought Mark was coming in to talk about Gatorade, but it looked like he's just disgusted with us.
He's freaking out about something. Let's go. All right.
Yeah, what's going on, Mark?
You're just gonna throw out the yellow's the best Gatorade, like that's fact, and you both just like, oh yeah, well, yellow's the best. Yeah,
Lemon
yellow.
lime, yeah, it's the original.
Yeah, it's the best. Yep.
Sure, yeah. Since when is the original anything the best anything?
Go
Like,
ahead.
you-
Tell
you
me
make
what your
more.
Gatorade is.
What my bet?
Yeah.
Reds. Any of the reds are good.
Fruit
He said he
punch.
liked the red.
I'm a big fruit
No,
punch guy.
yeah,
That's
know
what I go
you did,
get.
and then Connor called it
But
the worst.
I
and then
take
you both just
more-
agreed on yellow.
I take more crap for saying that fruit punch is the best Gatorade flavor than almost any other food take I ever had.
Really?
People get real upset about fruit punch.
Why?
Fruit punch is not highly regarded in the collective food choices of people.
I don't understand. Like it's everywhere.
I don't
It's
know.
everywhere because
I love it. I love fruit
Yeah.
punch when it's an option.
What's your like non-mainstream Gatorade choice?
Non-mainstream.
Yes, non like
Like
yellow, orange, red, blue.
I don't know if I'm breaking away from
Oh,
either
wow.
red or orange.
Interesting.
Like give me the clear cherry one. Or
okay,
the white.
I don't know what they're called. Like I said, they
I don't know.
rebranded them a whole bunch.
I
of
forgot
times.
about orange. Orange isn't bad.
Orange is good.
Yeah.
Orange is always a good flavor for everything.
What about the white ones?
I had an
I hate the
orange
white ones.
Moscow Mule, by
It's
the
like
way.
white
Have you
cherry.
had that ever?
No,
That's very
but I
good.
want it.
Orange vodka Moscow Mule. I had it at a place here in town. Very good. Would recommend. You don't strike me as a Moscow Mule guy.
I like Moscow mules,
Oh.
but I like him to not be Moscowy. I like him to be whiskey.
Yeah, I was gonna say bourbon mules
Yeah.
or
Kentucky mule,
mules,
I guess
yeah.
is what they call
I
it.
could see that.
All right, so while we're on the drink takes here,
Yeah, we're just in this.
Baja Blast, overrated.
100% agree.
Can we get three?
100%
Can we get
agree.
threes?
If I'm at Taco Bell, I got to get a little Baja
No,
Blast.
you just
No.
get regular
You
Mountain
know,
Dew. It's
it's
fine.
like it's a win in Rome sort of situation. Do I want it all the time? No.
Now,
if I'm living Moss, yeah.
I don't know what it is, but the red Mountain Dew for me is king.
Oh God, we've attracted.
That's Rico's music.
Y'all trying to square up right now? What's
He
up?
has entered the studio with a
What's up?
chair and he is swinging it wildly.
What's up?
Baja
You talking,
Blast.
you talking trash on Baja Blast?
I don't get it.
The goat Mountain Dew
Look,
flavor?
Livewire is better, and
It's not.
they went away from Livewire. They don't promote Livewire.
They don't have
Livewire,
to.
meanwhile, is just sitting there, and it's like it's a top 2 Mountain Dew with that in original, and they're sitting
Ugh.
over here pimping Baja Blast like
Live,
crazy.
Code Red.
Livewire's every summer it comes out with Baja Blast, but they don't have to pimp it because Livewire is just Livewire.
They don't talk about Livewire.
Livewire's
if they put
top
marketing
3.
behind Livewire, Livewire would be more popular than Baja Blast.
They
Baja
marketed it
Blast
enough.
is only popular because it was only ever initially available at Taco Bell, right?
yes,
Yes.
and
This
they
is-
put all
the
their marketing
exclusivity
juice
of
behind
it made it seem like
And-
it was important when it really wasn't.
It is important. It's
It's not.
delicious. It's the best. It's the best Mountain Dew outside of original.
No.
He said
Like it's
Livewire
goated.
is peasantry.
Is peasantry?
Peasantry. Like
What do you?
it's the stuff that peasants
Have
drink.
you done the
give me
red,
Live
white,
Wire
and
like
dew?
The what?
The red, white, and dew.
No, it
I saw
sounds
Rico
horrible.
drinking
Actually,
that.
pretty good.
My buddy
Surprisingly good.
my buddy went on this kick. You remember a while back when they were doing the Mountain Dew throwbacks and they were just extreme sugar.
Yeah, it was basically Surge, but they couldn't call it Surge.
My buddy got super into that and he got this thing called like trench mouth.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He got Mountain Dew mouth.
Yeah, Mountain Dew mouth. But I mean, it wasn't like he looked like he lived in West Virginia, but he
okay.
like couldn't create saliva correctly anymore after drinking all this Mountain Dew.
That's incredible.
It was horrible.
How much did that take?
I don't know. He
when do you
had
get to that point?
he had a lot
just-
of Mountain Dew throwbacks.
Don't
You just
you
have
know
to
that,
live in
like-
West Virginia.
Did he not know how to just cut off at that point?
I'm not sure what happened.
Because
You
like
gotta
if you eat
hydrate,
a
man.
bunch of
Hydrate.
if you eat a bunch of like French fries and you don't drink water, you have nothing, you have no sauce. Like the dryness of the French fry will cause that sort of issue with your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm actually
you
surprised.
can feel it. You
Yeah.
feel it. You know how to like. Oh, I need sauce. or I
Yeah,
need
it's like
water.
a less fast version of when you eat a bunch of saltine
Your
crackers.
buddy was basically just like, no more.
Oh, my mouth is so dry.
I thought that stuff was too sugary. And that was at the height of my
It's-
sugar intake.
It's not good.
This was like the real cane sugar Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still sell it, and
Yeah.
I can't. I can drink like
I
a
don't.
can.
I don't want it.
They're not great.
I just want Code Red more often than not. And I like the cranberry Christmas one that I had you try
That one is
you hated.
disgusting.
that was horrible.
I love it.
You are disgusting.
See,
I didn't know that
my drink
existed,
takes
but-
are somehow.
No, he brought a whole
just-
bunch of stuff in. Somebody also brought some Pepsi stuff in, and
It was the Coke. It was the
Coke, the
orange
cinnamon
cinnamon
Coke.
Oh
orange or
no,
whatever.
no.
yeah.
Do you remember when that guy brought
I
those
do.
in?
Yeah, they were
Also
new.
disgusting.
No, they were fine.
Cinnamon
I
Coke? I'm
appreciate-
out on.
I appreciate the guy bringing them in, but they were
No,
disgusting.
we drank all
Coke
the other
vanilla. I'm in. Cinnamon Coke. I am out.
crap. Ugh. Well, we
I haven't
didn't.
ever done cherry vanilla.
Cherry vanilla Dr Pepper is
Well, you probably
is
weren't
like a
here when
top
I had
5
my
drink.
Dr Pepper take. Were you?
You don't like Dr Pepper,
Yeah.
right?
23
Yeah.
flavors.
I pissed a whole bunch of people off.
That doesn't surprise me. Dr Pepper has a cult following.
Yeah, I got ratioed.
I mean, that's not surprising. I could see where you could really make people mad.
I just was asking a question.
I just remember you.
if you
sitting
want to
here.
also make people mad, if they text you Dr Pepper or you see it in written form, and then you just like drop in, there's no period after the doctor. People get really upset about.
Oh,
this for
really?
some- yeah,
I didn't know that.
look it up.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll definitely try to do that.
I just remember you talking about Dr Pepper sitting here and just going 23 flavors my ass.
There's
that,
a flavor.
That was my line. Yeah. My line on Twitter was, they say there's 23 flavors, but I only taste one. Trash.
What, is the text line blowing up about
that's
this?
good.
Yeah, they have some things.
Mountain
to
Dew
say.
is Mountain Dew is the goat soda, and I will hear no
I'm
difference.
not sure why, but we're deep in like
Yeah, it really took off there.
we're
Got away from us.
we're deep in like COVID radio right now.
This is
We're-
camp
there's
season.
sports
Sorry.
are happening, and we.
I'm sorry, you guys disgusted me with your
Well, yeah, you came running in with
Baja
a
Blast
chair.
take. How
It's
dare
not
you.
good, Rico.
It's delicious.
I don't even like.
People
outside
mad
of a
about
rig-
the people mad about the Baja Blast A couple people with me on Livewire, though. Thank you. There's a good meme, and it's like an astronaut and another astronaut, and the one astronaut says the sun is Baja Blast. And,
Always has been.
and the other one says always has been, and he's like shooting him.
Because we revolve around Baja Blast.
Code Red is an abomination.
No, how dare you?
I used to drink Code Red all the time when I was in my World of Warcraft phase.
I didn't know
To
where
fit
that
in,
sentence
right? You
was
had
gonna
to.
go.
Yeah,
Do you have trench mouth too?
I didn't. I'm surprised I haven't had trench mouth.
Yeah, I'm not sure what caused that. That was, I mean, it was the Mountain Dew, but
Yeah, I was like a dwarf paladin, and I was down in Mountain Dew by the 2 liters.
Poor
oh
Nikki
yeah,
Flash.
this is a good point, Mark. I'm gonna direct this your way. Text says, "Why should I listen to anybody who thinks there are too many potato options, but will defend tea to the death?"
I'm not going to defend tea to the death. Oh, wait. Oh,
Which
tea-
Well, we were talking about
I thought we were
tea.
talking tea like tomatoes.
We were
Yeah.
talking about the T in BLT, which stands for tomatoes.
Yeah.
But Mark was talking about
Drinking.
tea.
Okay.
Like,
All right. I mean, do we need to do that again?
not really.
Because
I think you
all
actually
I
got
said is
upset.
I do like tea.
All I know is you have a mustache and you're talking about how many potatoes there are and you like tea. So I don't know what's, like,
All right. Thanks for having me on your show, guys. Appreciate it.
There goes Mark.
you grab a mic. I don't know. Look, they'll be in the kitchen if you can't take the heat.
Rico, do you want to stay
That
in
thing.
for 2 minutes of Trey Lance talk?
I
Since
can.
you're already
yeah,
here.
I do love Trey Lance.
Yeah, it feels like Trey Lance would be a guy that you would have irrationally clung to before anyone else. We're gonna hard shift over to
I wasn't
sports.
before anyone else, but I was pretty high on him.
So just a hard shift here for the next 2 minutes, and we're gonna have Gary Sharp joining the show. We'll try to get back on the rails. So Sharp probably would have enjoyed this conversation as much as anyone. Trey Lance went from 2 days ago wasn't going to get any first team reps in fall camp to last night. Beat reporters were tweeting out that if Trey Lance isn't named the starter, there will be fights on the 49ers team.
Like the New York Giants fight.
I don't know about that one. Daniel Jones at the bottom of it. Not a great sign.
That's pretty funny.
Joe Judge making everyone run laps like they're in 8th grade.
Again.
It sounded
Um,
like a really, like that tweet thread. It almost sounded made up. Like it almost sounded like it was staged. It sounded like something that Dan Campbell would probably stage in his first year as a head coach of the Lions.
That's Dan Campbell's first practice.
right. It's like, we're all going to fight. We're going to make this whole thing up.
Well, Dan Campbell said he wants to get his team so mad that they're ready to fight, but then they don't.
But then they don't. Right. They
But
stop
then they
short of
bite
fighting.
somebody's kneecap off.
Dan Campbell.
Always remember.
It takes a lot of work to be the worst coach in the NFL without coaching a game for your team yet.
He might
But
be
Dan
there.
Campbell has already done it.
It's
Yeah, he
impressive.
might be
Salute to
there.
him. But back to Trey Lance. So basically, not taking any first team reps. Last night, there's going to be a schism if the team, if they don't go with Trey Lance amongst the veterans. And today, Trey Lance taking first team reps. Does Trey Lance, assuming health, start every game for the 49ers? That's my question.
Yes. That's not even.
What happens to like $35 million Jimmy
No,
Garoppolo?
he just goes away.
This is
Yeah, they'll
incredible.
trade him, or he'll just be a very expensive backup.
Just
I'm pretty sure he
incredible.
was asked by a defensive end, like during the Super Bowl or something, like, "Why do we pay you all this money to just hand the ball off?"
Roasted.
Like his own teammate asked him that. So I don't think they really like Jimmy all that much.
His career with the 49ers basically started 7-0, tears his ACL the next year, goes to the Super Bowl, becomes one of the least favorite quarterbacks of any franchise by both the fans and his teammates, and is now going to be supplanted by a guy who played in one football game last year.
Pretty funny.
That's
Seems about right for
incredible.
Jimmy G.
That is incredible.
The
All
man
right.
has had a weird career.
We'll get Gary Sharp's thoughts on Gatorade flavors, flavored ice, Mountain Dew, all of that and more. Plus Huskers, I suppose. Next.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Seasonal maintenance on your car makes it perform better and last longer. Same goes for furnaces, heat pumps, and air conditioners. Hi, folks. Greg Sharp here, the voice of the Huskers. No matter what brand you own, call Bryant and sign up for their Energy Savings Plan, or ESP. You get Bryant's complete system checkup twice each year. You also save 10% on labor, 10% on parts, and never pay overtime on service calls. Call 467-1111. Sign up for ESP today. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Wouldn't it be great if you could shop for a new floor at home where you can clearly see the best choice? At O Street Carpet, we'll bring our store to your home. Hi, Steve Carper here. Tell us what kind of floor you're thinking about. We'll bring the sample so you can pick and choose with confidence. We'll even measure free while we're there. To shop at home, just call us or stop in at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street or in your home.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at myerswine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
Uncle Tim, some friends and I are getting together this weekend. Can you buy us some alcohol?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Come on, it'll be low-key. My friends always say you're cooler than other adults.
Oh, well, all right. But don't let your mother find out and don't get caught. Hello, officer. What can I help you with?
Are you the uncle of Samantha?
Yes. Is she okay?
You're under arrest for procuring alcohol from minors. One of the minors drove drunk and killed the mother of two last night in a crash. You're looking at up to 3 years in jail and a $10,000 fine.
Don't make the same mistake he did. We need you to be the responsible adult. Underage drinking, adult consequences. There's no free ride if you provide. Learn more at projectextramile.org.
Sponsored by Region 6, Nebraska DHHS, and SAMHSA. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridge World. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridge World is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers and all the required service just for buying cartridge rolled ink and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Hazy skies expected as we get into our Tuesday afternoon. High temps climbing up to around 84. Winds out of the south at 10 to 15. Tonight, mostly clear. The low dropping down to around 62. We'll warm up a bit more tomorrow with a high of 87 and see a slight chance of nighttime thunderstorms. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Connor Happer here as the texts and reactions roll into our conversation about flavors, basically.
Flavors.
Again, not sure why on this day when sports are actually going on, we had a 20-minute conversation on this.
I'd say
sometimes
anytime.
it just happens.
I'd say anytime you could take a real good detour you're passionate about, take it. Take the scenic route.
Well, we'll bring in Gary Sharp. We'll see if he has any thoughts on Mountain Dew flavors, Gatorade flavors. What was the other one? The flavor of snow cones. Were you a snow cone guy as a kid growing up, Gary?
Yes, for the record, Diet, Blue, and Cotton Candy snow cone.
Okay, so Diet Mountain Dew, Blue Gatorade, right?
Yes.
That was the second one.
Okay.
And then Cotton Candy snow cone. I don't know if I know that one.
So, you get the flavors and they could put in the the different flavors.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I was swimming at Lions Park. I was not as talented as you two at water parks, but little fat kid was swimming. And I got, every 30 minutes I would get hungry and I'd go drink a pop or I would go get a snow cone. And so they had this little, stranger danger cart where back then you don't even think twice. Nowadays you'd probably call the cops on this person. They had a snow cone stand and they had a cotton candy flavored snow cone that I thought was awesome. Half of it would go down my mouth, I would consume it in my mouth, and the rest would go down the front of me and end up on my swim trunks, and I'd hop back in the pool and it'd be all good.
So you did not wait the mandated 30 minutes to get back into the pool after eating?
No, and I'm going to dispel that myth right now because I'm still alive.
Well, we're thankful for that.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. I have one, Gary. What did you call the person who drove around in your neighborhood in a truck and rang a bell and sold ice cream?
Ice cream man!
Ice cream man. People go with the ice cream. I go ding ding man.
I've heard that before. That is acceptable as well.
Okay, good.
I do like the Eddie Murphy impression there.
Yeah.
It is one of his best. Well, the stand-up that he had that included the ice cream man.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Funniest bits that Eddie Murphy has ever done.
I went back last year when things weren't happening, and I watched that one night and was just laughing uncontrollably. And then you think about like what he's wearing, just like this incredible red leather jumpsuit, like that no one else on earth could pull off, but maybe him and Prince, and he did it. It worked.
Hey, so some of that stuff on the on his video or his stand-up that night goes into the category of things that you could get away with back then saying.
Yeah.
There is no way today that would be acceptable. Like the old show in living color, not a shot that would be back on TV today.
Nope.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's actually start with Trev Alberts. We'll go there and then we'll dive into the football program a little bit. But you've known Trev a long time. I mean, I would say of the people in the media, you probably have had the longest relationship with, maybe not the longest, but maybe the most consistent relationship with Trev Alberts, with all your dealings with UNO and being the voice of the basketball program over there and just being generally involved in the Omaha community. I text you. So I was on vacation when that happened, and I just reached out and I said, hey, why is this a good hire? And you came back with your thoughts, and I know you feel pretty strongly about Trev Alberts. And so just ask you again, why do you feel like this is a good hire at this time for Nebraska and for Trev?
Because I know, Connor and I have talked about this. I know people initially were like, whoa, if you're going to have a national search, we expect a big name. When Jamie Pollard's name is mentioned, okay, Jamie Pollard is not coming here, but who's the next big name? And then you get Trev, who is a name, but it's not what people are looking for. And I said, and I actually had this conversation with a head coach in the athletic department currently that's been there for a while. And I said, what do you guys need in an athletic director? And this coach has gone through a few athletic directors, and he kind of listed things that are important. They don't need someone to be at practice. They don't need somebody that says, hey, maybe you should have done this. They need somebody that is supportive, that is a listener, that also is, we don't have 24 athletic departments. We have one. And so when this coach told me that, and I heard Trev mention that, I thought, he has had a conversation with somebody. But what Trev does well in communication and having a presence and being in, having an open form of conversation and communication with people that are coaches or student athletes or staff, all of those things that Trev has been really good at Omaha, that's exactly what Nebraska needed. And that's why he started to move to the top of the list, is because they looked at, for really kind of maybe the first time in hiring that position, okay, what do we need internally to help us succeed? Not what is perceived on the outside or what other people want. The people that work here need. And Trev checked all those boxes, and that's why he rose to the top of the list and has gotten the job. And I can tell you, he's 2.5 weeks in. He's very excited. I know he's very swamped, but he is also showing right away that he is open to listening to what people want. But I also think he is showing you how realistic he is and how he has a pulse of a fan base and a pulse of a person that just do the right thing. I will tell you, he one of the things that is really big that he has done in his short time and he's done a lot of listening and communicating and getting to know people, is the whole paper ticket thing, which to some might not seem like a big deal, but our parents, guys, they may not have great smartphones, and they're all of a sudden worried that when they show up on September 4th, they're not going to have a ticket. They're not going to know how to get their ticket. They're going to clog up the line. It's just going to be a mess. Well, one of the first things Trev did, because he heard about this from fans, is he said, we are going to do paper tickets. We're not going to be all mobile. And he got some pushback. People were saying, whoa. We're going mobile. We've already told people. And he said, no, what we're doing is I'm sending an email out to all the ticket holders and giving them the option if they want paper tickets. And he said, you know that our fan base is a little bit older. We have to take care of our fan base because they're taking care of us. Just those little simple things, which might not seem like a big thing to a lot of people, but is kind of key for fans, and to give you some insight into Trev, I think explains everything right there on why Trev is going to be really good for this job and why he was the right person.
One of the conversation points that came out of the Scott Frost hiring, and you can even sort of include Bill Moose in this too, is that it felt like behind the scenes everything was lined up. And what I mean by that is, I would say for the duration or most of the duration of the time that I've covered Nebraska athletics, you've had different people pulling in different directions in your power structure of how the football program should either be run or who should be the head of it, or if the board of regents should be heavily involved, if a university president should be heavily involved, what the role of a chancellor is. Does having someone like Trev Alberts, who had sort of the cachet that Scott Frost does, do you think that sort of, I don't know if you're ever going to have it perfect, but do you think that sort of brought some of those power structures together again in the same way that it felt like it did in the aftermath of the Scott Frost hire, and it maybe lasted for about a year and before it started to pull apart at the seams? Because Sean Eichhorst never had that. Tom Osborne didn't necessarily have that to the same degree because there was people that were sort of just out on him. We know Steve Peterson at the end didn't have it. And that feels like it's a big part of your athletic director, is that he needs to know the people that are lined up behind them are at least willing to go in the same direction as his vision. Do you think Trev Alberts is going to be afforded that in the same way?
I think so, because he's got a presence. I think he's a good communicator. I think just because of who he is, and he's able to align people. I've always said this about Bill, and my first athletic director when I started going to school in Lincoln and then covering Nebraska was Bill Byrne. And Bill Byrne kind of, at the time, people didn't want Bill because he was taking over for Devaney, and Bill Byrne was an outsider. Well, Bill Byrne came in, and he essentially said, I know there's a lot of people that want this job, but really don't want this job. They just kind of want the title. He goes, I want everything that goes with being the athletic director at Nebraska. I want the title. I want the responsibilities, and I'm the athletic director. We're not, again, having 24 athletic departments or people that are, sticking their hand in the position, but they're not one that has the name on the business card. And I think that's where Trev is pretty key, is he wants input from people. He's not slamming the door on people. He likes communication. He likes listening. But at the end of the day, Nebraska has to have an athletic director that he's the bottom line guy. He is the athletic director at the top of the athletic department, and everything goes through him. It can't be, okay, we're running our own athletic department here on the side, and we're making decisions that supersede an athletic director, or we're not keeping them in the loop. That can happen at a Fortune 500 company like Nebraska Athletics, and I think that's one thing that Trev is pretty geared towards, is we can do this together, but you can't do it around me. I have to be involved, or at least have some knowledge of what's going on, so I'm not caught off guard, like we saw a couple of times during Bill Moose's tenure, where he was caught off guard by things that were going on. That can't happen in a place like Nebraska.
Gary, you asked me this last time we talked about it, but just something to the effect of what he knows and where he, his history of being here and what that means as far as him being the athletic director. I feel like that ultimately helps him out. If anything, I mean, maybe it doesn't help him out actually doing the job, but as far as, like you said, knowing the fan base, knowing which buttons to press at which time, Like, it's almost the right combination of things. And I know people want to put him in whatever box, whether it's the, the former player or the in the family thing. The more time that goes on, the more I think he has all the tools to do a really good job at the whole thing.
Well, I think that's an important point, because you want an athletic. Like, let's look at this, guys, from a head coach. What do I want in my athletic director? First of all, I want somebody that doesn't tear down our sport, that helps me with my budget, helps me with resources. If I need something, they're there for me. We have a good line of communication. They don't ignore me. We feel like we're on the same level and that we're in this together. We're not fighting each other. And then I want an athletic director that either is, a little bit older and is more experienced, that's going to mentor me or help me be a better coach. But I also want somebody that understands what I'm going through. You'll hear a lot of head coaches that say, I really enjoy having a former coach as an athletic director because they understand the process. Well, I think with Trev, considering the level that he played at and his different background, I think coaches will be real receptive to him because he understands the process. He knows what it takes to be a student athlete, what it takes to be successful. And I think coaches respect that your boss respects the process and how it works, instead of saying, hey, it's got to be an overnight success. You just snap your fingers and it's going to be this, this, and this. That's why it was important, Trev, on day one, and since then, in the times he's publicly spoken, kind of lay out his vision of what is expected and how we get there and how we work to get there as one. But the fact that he understands what the football coach is going through, what it's like to be a football coach here, what it's like to be a player here, what it's like to be a student athlete at Nebraska, where the expectations are like they currently are, I think really bodes well for coaches under Trev to succeed and be very good at their job, where the communication will be a lot better, guys, than it has been probably since Bill Byrne, who I think knew everybody on a first-name basis, whether you were inside the athletic department or you were working part-time parking cars out in the middle of the parking lot.
Talking to Gary Sharp here on the Recruiting Hour. I want to sneak in one more Nebraska athletics question before we jump over to football, and it's in the baseball realm. Rob Childress, do you see this as a kind of a long-term thing or a holdover until he gets another job offer? And then the second part of this question, which is maybe more interesting to me, what do you think it says about Will Bolt that he has the kind of ability or confidence that he wouldn't mind bringing in a former head coach for a role like that? Because it is his program, but he's bringing in a guy that's incredibly popular, that's tied to the era of which Bolt played in. And we've seen head coaches be pretty territorial. It feels to me like this is a thing that shows a lot of growth from Bolt, who's coming off of a tremendous year, that he is still willing to, it's not all the way outside, but is still willing to seek outside help or outside, judgment, if you will.
Well, that's used a great word, Shafe, and that's growth. I mean, Will has been essentially a Division I college baseball coach for one full season, and he is by far not a finished product. But it also shows you how comfortable he is in his role, maybe also how comfortable he is with his program, where it's headed, and also how comfortable his staff is with the decisions Will makes, that they are all at the end of the day, they have the same goal, and that is to get to the College World Series and win a national championship. And they'll do whatever it takes to get there. If that means adding the tutelage of Rob Childress, everybody is on board with it. That shows you how well-rounded Will is as a coach, not only from his baseball acumen, but also running a staff, that you could bring in a guy like Rob and nobody feels like their toes are getting stepped on. Now, I don't know if this is a long-term thing for Rob. It's not one of those jobs where you're 24/7, 365. You can dabble a little bit, and when called upon, hey, I'm here to help you. I'll do whatever I want. But it's not like Rob is, on the grind nonstop. It's just a good opportunity for Rob to stay in baseball, to come back to a place that he absolutely loves, to be able to hunt a little bit more because he still has this hunting property that's south of Lincoln. And if the right situation comes along, then Rob is free to go and pursue it. But I can tell you, he's a guy that loves Nebraska. I mean, when he left here to go to Texas A&M, I mean, his daughter came back and graduated from Nebraska. So this is a special place for him, and I think he'll be here as long as he wants. And I think Will is comfortable with that. And if you have the opportunity to get a guy like Rob Childress in your program, why not? Essentially, it's the equivalent of what we talk about in college football. That coach that gets fired all of a sudden shows up on Nick Saban's staff, and look at the knowledge that Butch Jones can drop on the Alabama players, when need be. That's kind of what Nebraska baseball is doing.
Switching over to football here with Gary Sharp. Gary, I mean, I was going to do a segment today, and we'll maybe dive into it a little bit here when we come back, but I was basically going to do a segment about the offensive skill position, more or less titled, "Who the hell are these guys?" Because we're a couple weeks away from this first game, and it doesn't matter which running back at this point, but whoever the leading running back is in that game, we really have no idea who that person is. Marvin Scott played in a handful of snaps. Rahmir Johnson hasn't been good enough to get a lot of run other than when people were completely wiped out for the Maryland game in 2019. Marquise Stepp had a couple practices, depending on who you talk to, and then he was gone. And at USC, his role was always up and down. And then you have Sevion Morrison, who never played at all. Jacques Yant was a walk-on until he recently earned a scholarship. One of these guys, according to Scott Frost, they want to be a bell cow. We have no idea what Nebraska has at running back. I haven't felt this way in a long time. I mean, maybe you could talk about the 2018 season in that regard, but you still kind of had Divino Zigbo and Mikhail Wilbon in the background working in someone like Greg Bell, and Maurice Washington was expected to have a role as well. But it feels like for as big of a position as running back is, and as storied as Nebraska's history is at that spot, how are we at this position 3 weeks from now? We don't know who the guy's going to be. And of the candidates, we don't really know much about any of these guys.
Would your opinion be different if Irvin had played in the spring game?
Maybe.
Because didn't you like everything you were hearing, and didn't you like seeing him in that open practice?
I did. I mean, I wasn't at the open practice, but I liked what I was hearing. I liked what Ryan Held had to say about him. But then I also had to weigh that against the fact that he was one of the two guys practicing most of the time. I mean, some of it is it's easy to talk about someone that's actually doing stuff relative to Sevion Morrison's out again, or Marvin Scott's a little banged up, or Rahmir Johnson's just not where we need him. So, I liked what I heard about Gabe Ervin, but it's also hard for me to imagine he's going to go from timeshare in Buford to suddenly being the guy in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like that's hard for me to kind of wrap my head around.
And that's fair. And then I say the counter to that is if recruiting is working the right way, regardless if they're a freshman straight out of high school or they're a redshirt freshman, if you're recruiting a high level running back, shouldn't they be in the mix sooner than later?
Absolutely.
I think we all with running backs, we have a bad taste in our mouth after last year where there was no running backs. Your running back was your quarterback, and how much of a problem that was. And then to have a situation at a place like Nebraska that has been known for eye backs, I mean, good running backs, to all of a sudden be in a situation where you have no idea what these guys can do. There is nobody that you trust, and there is nobody that for certain you can say, okay, he's going to go for 500. That guy might go for 850. I would imagine he goes for 275. Now, that can either be encouraging and exciting and a challenge, or it can make you deathly afraid, considering that the guy that is playing quarterback needs a strong running back to take the load off of him. It's uncomfortable. You have to trust in the position coach, that he'll figure out who the right guy is. But I think looking at in year 4 of the running back position, we're all kind of tainted by the first 3 years at running back, where they haven't been able to find that bell cow, where that guy that is number one, that gets 20 to 25 carries that they trust and they leave on the field, is there. And then when you have 6 guys, plus don't forget about Cooper Jewett, you got 7 guys that are in the mix. You don't know who's going to get the first snap. I can see how uncomfortable that is, but I still like Gabe Ervin. I think there is a number 1 running back. I think there's a 1C, and then there's probably a 2 running back. And whoever those other 2 are, you'd have to think that one of them has to be Stepp. Maybe the other is Yant, but we don't know. It's right now we're just speculating. Oh, what about Morrison? You forgot about him. What about Scott? Yeah, I can see where you're at, Shafe. But I like Gabe Ervin. I'm a believer in Gabe Ervin. I've heard different people talk about him. that aren't talking about him just to build him up, that are talking real, that they see something in him that he'll be able to flourish and be that number one guy.
All right. Hey, Gary, we appreciate your time as always and your wealth of knowledge on a variety of subjects. And we will go in search of cotton candy snow cones at a park near us soon.
Well, I missed what you guys said because I was on the air. What are your two top flavors?
Well, Happer went with grape. He found a
I'm not gonna say
place.
it's my top,
solid.
but I'm not gonna say it's my top flavor. I just got a grape.
Right.
I
You had all these flavors and you picked grape.
I picked grape. I don't know why. It's the one I went to. I like grape.
When I was a kid, they were always like the mixture. Like you were getting red, blue, green. It was like it was like a rainbow, basically, is how I sort of remembered it. That's what we had in Columbus. There was one flavor. It was all of them.
Well, and as all three of us, little eating snow cones, they all left our tongue either purple, red, or blue.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. All right, Gary. Hey, we appreciate it as always.
Thanks as always, guys.
Gary Sharp from 1620. We are overdue for a break. We're going to take that. We'll come back, finish up the show next.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been getting back out and hitting different restaurants, hitting different places, and I could not be more excited to get back to Bearshin in Benson, one of the best beer gardens around. The weather's starting to get good, and coinciding with that, they are going back to their full food menu. We're talking the burgers, the Johnny Hammer Pants sandwich, the pretzels, the fries, the salads, if you're one of those people. They got all of it. And they are now open Tuesday through Sunday. That allows you to get over to Bearshin, check out the food, the beer, hang out in the beer garden. You can get that $7 big cheese double Wagyu burger special on Tuesdays. Also, happy hour, 3 to 6, Tuesday through Friday. Don't miss it. Plus, if you're a soccer fan, it's the place to be in Benson.
Wouldn't it be great if you could shop for a new floor at home where you can clearly see the best choice? At O Street Carpet, we'll bring our store to your home. Hi, Steve Carper here. Tell us what kind of floor you're thinking about. We'll bring the sample so you can pick and choose with confidence. We'll even measure free while we're there. To shop at home, just call us or stop in at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street or in your home.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Deck City is Lincoln's DIY deck headquarters. With real deck professionals, they can help you throughout the entire process. They also offer financing for qualified customers. Deck City offers the best quality materials so you have a deck built to last. There's everything from Yellowwood lumber to the best quality TimberTech composites on the market and high quality aluminum railings by Westbury or Diamond Piers for easy footing install. For those looking to bring your wood deck back to life, they offer good proof ready seal stain. Deck City, your deck material headquarters, is now open Saturdays from 9 to 1, 2 blocks north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridgewold. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridgewold is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers, and all the required service just for buying cartridge roll, ink, and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the flow ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Well, then you'll love this. Bought this jerky. Got this free donut.
I love free donuts.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including free Lee Brice concert tickets. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer, presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Connor Happer here, finishing up another glorious edition of our show from 2 to 3. The drive is up next. What do you got going? You got Parker Gabriel on Tuesdays?
Yes.
What else you got?
I'm just going to talk a whole bunch.
Are you getting between the sheets?
I spent a lot of time today on the website that you may know of called Winsipedia.com.
I've been to Winsipedia.
Oh, man. I just spent an hour on that today.
You can lose a lot of time there.
Yep. So go through some musings.
Okay, let's do this. What websites do you think you've lost the most amount of time of your life?
Wikipedia.
That's definitely one.
I
mean, I would have to include like ESPN because of fantasy, like just being on there.
Okay, if that counts,
stuff.
then.
But just ignoring that, like Wikipedia would be one. Baseball Reference, I spend an insane amount of time.
Baseball
on.
Reference, YouTube,
College Sports Reference, I spend a lot of time on for like older Nebraska stats. I never know how accurate they are, but I basically treat them like they are.
What about YouTube?
Yeah, not as much anymore. Because I try to avoid video
Out
as
on
much as
YouTube.
possible.
Wow.
I don't want to watch videos. I want stuff to be quicker.
You don't want to pivot to video.
I don't want to sit through your ad. I don't want to,
I do agree with that.
Now, if I'm just like looking up old music videos, then yes, I want to go specifically to YouTube. If I want to find like an old clip, or like yesterday, Robin Washut responding to the minor league baseball thing with the Tropics half court shot or reverse free throw shot.
Yeah.
With that clip, which I've never actually seen all of semi-pro. I've only seen bits and pieces of it.
Especially Dirty Hippie.
Yeah. That was like right in the heart of my, like, I'm just kind of tired of Will Ferrell, so I'm skipping this one phase.
Oh, come on.
Blades of Glory and
he was in
Semi-Pro
everything, but
hit
it was
that.
great.
Well, it's not that he was in everything. It's that he was basically playing a similar character and everything. And it's
Sure.
like, man, I'm just out. I can skip the figure skating and the basketball.
Yeah, everything in between like Anchorman and Step Brothers. Yeah, it was all the same, but they were all hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I loved them.
Yeah, I don't spend that much time on YouTube, relative, I guess.
Is that
But you spend most of your time on flight simulators now?
flights? Well, no, I mean it's a whole game.
Oh, it's a game.
It's a video game.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
Flight simulator.
I don't know if you're just watching other people do flight simulators. or
Yeah,
what.
I'm just trying to get it right. I fly. I do probably a flight a night, depending on where I want to go. Pick a cool place. Last night I think I was doing a little. I took off in Seattle, and I think I landed in San Diego.
So what do you see in between?
The world. It's the real world.
How are you like? Wouldn't you be too high to see anything?
It's the real life world. You can fly wherever you want. You don't. I mean,
You just make sure there's no cloud coverage.
You could, or you
Interesting.
could fly through the clouds to make it more
So
fun.
what do
and
you
interesting.
actually have to do to prevent yourself? Like you're just sitting there looking as the screen is.
Well, you can fast
rolling?
forward. So that was like, for reference, that was like a 2.5 hour flight. But
you're just doing this for 2.5 hours?
no, but you could fast forward to like the approach. you know?
Okay.
And so you got to slow down. You got to put the landing gear out. You got to line it up with the runway. You got to
I'm
get clearance
baffled
from
as
the
to how
air-
this is entertaining.
You got to get clearance from the air traffic control. Like you have to communicate. Like it's all a thing, man.
I mean, I'm as interested in air travel as the next guy, but I have no interest in this flight simulator.
You know, it's not for everyone.
I just want to become somehow independently wealthy enough that I can learn how to fly a plane. Like that's a dream.
Well, that
of
would be
mine.
great, but all I have is Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I know.
It costs $60. I have that money.
I mean, I have that money too. I just don't know what I would get out of it.
Super fun for me. It's very Kip says it's very detailed. It's extremely detailed. Yes.
Okay.
No, and they just released it on the Xbox, so I could just use my controller. If I wanted the real experience, I'd have to get the PC set up with the joystick and the whole thing. But I don't have that time on my hands.
No one has that time.
No.
Well, actually, some people have that time. You do not. You're not that people.
It's really great. It's really great.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Gabe Ervin after Sharp was talking him up there a little bit?
I just saw a picture of you on Twitter that Brunts tweeted out, and it distracted me. But
Is it me pitching?
it is a seemingly teenage version of you at a baseball game.
Oh no, that's my NSAA pass picture. That's what he uses every year. It's the same picture from 2009. I'm not teenage. I was of drinking age at that point.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a lot younger looking when I didn't have hair on my face all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had actual hair.
By the way, are you ready for a little facial hair change for me?
You're doing your usual, like, burn the soil
Yep.
and start over thing.
That's right.
Your wife has confided that she hates it when you do this.
Uh-huh.
So why do you do it?
I don't know. Just
Can you just bring
time
it
to
down the
restart.
stubble like a normal person?
Well, there's going to be a mustache situation this weekend.
What is with this station and mustaches?
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. Also, Google Earth.
I'm going to come back and Emmett's going to have a mustache.
I love Google. I spent back in the day. I used to spend a lot of time on Google Earth.
Google Earth, just like putting in random locations to see what it would look like.
Yep, going on streets, looking around.
Did you ever want to be one of the people driving the Google Earth car because you like to drive cars?
I saw that I was hiking. I just got done hiking at Mount Chautauqua Park in Boulder, Colorado. Going back over to my car, and the Google Earth car is right there. So if you go to right out the entry of Chautauqua Park in Boulder, Colorado, right on the street there, you will see a picture of me crossing the street.
Wow.
Right in front of the Google car.
That's incredible. I've seen the Google car driving.
Yeah, you got to
but I
wave
never,
at it.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to wave at it. There's this app that I spend a lot of time on. And it is, so we're just taking this overtime.
Yeah, that's fine.
for the
No,
moment.
that's fine. It's just like we're just done with Gabe Ervin. We're moving on.
No,
we'll
I wanna
save
do-
it for tomorrow. We'll save it for
No,
tomorrow.
I
It's
want to
fine.
do Gabe Ervin.
No, we'll save it for tomorrow.
There is this app that I like that has to do with geography.
Is it a Google simulator?
I lost it. No, it's basically it puts you in a place and you get to kind of look around and like identify stuff, and
You have to figure out where you
you
are.
have to guess where you are.
Okay.
It's called GeoGuessr.
GeoGuessr.
Yes. So it just puts you any place in the world and you have to figure it out. And then it gives you points based on how far you are in miles away from the point in which you pick.
How good are you at this?
I'm pretty good.
Okay. Like what's pretty good?
I've gotten a lot
So
of
if it
points
put you in
before.
Detroit, you would have some semblance of an idea.
Well, it depends. You could do just United States, which I
Uh-huh.
actually think is tougher because if you do the world, it'll give you a whole bunch of different ones and you could like tell when you're in Russia, So you just do boom somewhere in the center of Russia and then you're pretty close.
Okay.
So
do you have to have an actual specific place or GPS coordinates, or you could just put Russia?
you put that gives you a map and you press it.
Oh,
You pinpoint it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
All right,
great.
So GeoGuessr.
GeoGuessr. Mm-hmm.
So this is when you're done with Flight Simulator. You get your 2.5 hour flight done.
Also, I get done tracking the planes that
well,
are
yeah.
above me.
So the
Yeah.
Flight Aware thing.
Flight Radar 24. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Nice. And so you still spend your summer nights just looking out in the sky, trying to figure out when they're crossing.
If
or
I'm ever out in the
is
porch,
your
and I-
neighborhood not? Do you not have as much flight?
there's not
activity?
as much air travel going on above my head. But if I ever see something in the distance, it's automatic. Like I wonder where that's coming from, and then I guess where it's coming from. I'm usually right.
This is so fascinating to me.
I don't know, man. I'm weird.
No, I'm weird too. I get it. I have my own quirks. I just never would have pegged you as a guy who would spend your time at geoguessr.com. Or
try it.
you would spend however much time simulating yourself taking off from Seattle and landing in San Diego.
Yeah, that's what I did last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've done Lincoln to Omaha.
Okay, how did that go?
Super fun. You could see Memorial Stadium, Pinnacle
Wow.
Bank Arena, the whole thing. I landed on Memorial Stadium a few nights ago.
That doesn't sound safe.
Highly illegal.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's the only place where you can do it though, because it's a simulator.
Yeah. Well, you just hope no one shows up at your house
I know, yeah.
asking what your plans are.
No, but it's a safe
Like
landing.
you're
It's
some
not
sort
like
of
a crash
sequel to
landing.
Sum of All Fears over here.
You make it safe.
Okay.
Safe.
Well, hopefully no one's there.
All right, we
What if
could
there was a
probably-
recruiting event?
It seemed empty.
Was the video board on?
No.
Okay. Well, then you were safe.
Yeah.
So
It seemed empty. Should we end this show?
we can try. We sure can.
1 minute on Gabe Ervin.
All right.
I think I would agree with Gary.
Okay.
We probably don't need to be scared as much. And I know the hesitation on him is that he is a freshman.
I'm not scared that a freshman could come here and start. It seems convenient that the guy who is most available for him is also a stud, is sort of what I'm kind of saying.
Okay.
If I can put my Steve Sipple cynical hat on, that's what I would say.
Well, I guess we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's not like they're not making it up entirely. Like they're real reasons, but also being the most available to play allows you to be the most talked about.
That's right.
So, but hey, there's bonus points for being available because no
Gabe
one
Ervin-
else was.
Gabe Ervin got a lot of bonus points. In
No one else was. So maybe that's all it takes. All right. Thank you for letting me go into overtime. The drive is up next. The recruiting hour returns on a Wednesday.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather, sponsored